Hi, welcome to Logum Farm. I'm Michelle. We're in the kitchen again, and today we're going to be cooking up something special. It's November. We're all getting our meal planning together for the holidays, and I thought, well, you know, I like acorn squash. I was going to go to the grocery store and buy some because that's what I like to eat this time of year. Before I went to the grocery store, I thought, well, let me see what the November special chicken recipe is. If you haven't picked up this book, you have to pick up the Coop book. It is packed full of lots of different recipes, care tips for your chickens, and the November recipe is shell on acorn squash pie. What a coincidence, since I was going to buy some anyway. I picked up 2 acorn squash. These are pretty. I almost don't even want to cut them because they're so pretty, but that's what we're going to do today. So I started with preheating my oven to 350 degrees, and we're going to take both of the acorn squash and cut them in half. So here goes the first one. Oh, goodness. Okay, that's a little bit tough. Oh, very nice. Lots of seeds for the chickens. You're going to take your acorn squash and put them flesh side down on your baking sheet. Okay, watch me cut this next one. All right, here we go. Okay. Maybe if I rock it a little bit. Okay, I'm too short for this. There we go. Ooh. Oh yeah, that's a nice one. All right, again, flesh side down onto your baking sheet. I'm gonna put these in the oven for 30 minutes, get the rest of my ingredients together, and then we'll get started making the pie. Oh boy, look at that. This looks so good. Am I sure I want to give this to the chickens? Man, that looks really good and it smells fantastic. All right, they're finally finished cooking. You can tell they're a nice golden brown. So what we have to do now is scoop out all the flesh and seeds and stick them in a bowl. And I'm going to do my best to try to keep the shell actually intact, because after you mix everything together, you're going to be putting the squash meat back in to the shells. So try not to rip them. I think that's pretty good, not too bad so far. I don't know what the weather is like where you're at, but here today it is cold, it's really cloudy, so this is a perfect time to do some cooking. I know earlier I wanted my husband to kind of help me out because I didn't cut my hands off, you know, cutting the squash, which was good, but sometimes I'm just too short, and then it's always good to have your husband around to reach things or to cut up something that's too difficult to cut up. All right. This recipe calls for the use of 1 acorn squash. Because I bought 2, of course, I'm doubling the recipe. So I will tell you what you're supposed to mix in for 1 squash. Just know that for mine, the recipe is doubled. Ooh, these are still a little warm. That's okay. All right. 1 more to scoop out. I cannot believe that this book has made me start cooking for chickens. I mean, believe me, my chickens are spoiled. But this might take it to a whole new level. This is pretty good though. It's nutritious. I mean, you know, you want your egg yolks to be yellow. You want your chickens to be as healthy as possible. This is how you're gonna do it, is giving them healthy options. And besides, it's cold now. The grass is starting to die. There's not a lot, not as many bugs as there used to be, of course, in the summertime. I have seen them still dig up a few worms, but there's just not going to be as much of that stuff around, so you might as well give them something. Besides, hopefully this will cheer them up today. All right, the next step is to take a fork and mash all of this up really well. So today I'm going to use a potato masher because that's what I have. Forks are good. I don't know if you've used anything different to, mash your potatoes and stuff up, but I actually even used a glass before. You got to use what you have on hand. Nothing says you have to use a potato masher. That's just what I'm going to use today. So we're going to mash this up really good. You leave the seeds in there. They're roasted. They're not going to hurt your chicken. All right. So now that everything's nice and mashed up, we're going to go on with the rest of the ingredients. So the next step would be to put in all of your dry ingredients. This bowl here, I have two things in the bowl. The bottom layer is oatmeal, and the top layer, you're gonna put in first 1 cup of oatmeal and then 1 cup of chicken feed. I use Nature's Own organic chicken feed. It's the chick starter is what I use for our chickens. So we have 1 cup of oats, 1 cup of feed. Next is going to be a 1/2 cup of dried berries and a 1/2 cup of sunflower seeds. You can use any nuts that you have on hand. I actually feed the chickens. This is for snack time only because they're extremely spoiled. But I have this waste-free nut and fruit blend, and it has in it, oh gosh, it has sunflowers, peanuts. Of course, they're not raw peanuts, so yes, you can give peanuts to your chickens. Cracked corn, raisins, pistachios, almonds. Who gives their chickens pistachios? Apparently they are extremely spoiled. We pecans, dried cherries, ground corn, blueberries. They are really spoiled. So I put all of this in a cup. This is a whole cherry, if you can see that. There you go. This is a whole cherry. It smells really good too. So I usually break it up. The roosters like the nut blend much better than the hens do. And if I put out 1 handful of grub worms and 1 handful of nuts, the roosters always go to the nuts. Nuts are great for them to eat because it's packed full of a lot of vitamins and minerals. And it's a nice healthy snack for them. They really, really do enjoy it. So again, we're gonna do a 1/2 cup of dried berries and a 1/2 cup of nuts. I'm gonna put that in there. We have 1 garlic bulb. This came from our own garden. Yay! I'm a little stingy with the garlic. You don't want to give your chickens too much garlic, but they can have a little bit. If you go online, of course, there's a whole list of things that chickens can and cannot eat, kind of like dogs. Absolutely no chocolate. So, you know, just some other things to think about. We have, cinnamon. It says to taste, but you can put as much in it as you want. I did about a 1/2 teaspoon. Molasses. Where are we at? 1 tablespoon of molasses. Ooh, that alone tastes good. You know how I like molasses. Okay. And then we have 1 tablespoon oregano or any herbs that your chickens like. So the garden is kind of coming to an end, but I still have some fresh oregano, had 1 sprig of tarragon left, some thyme, and some fresh parsley. You can use dried herbs if you want. That's totally fine. I'm gonna use fresh herbs just because I had it on hand. And now we have to mix all of this together. Okay. So if you have some other ideas on videos that you'd like to see or some helpful snacks that you like to, you want to tell some people what you give your chickens, I'm always open to suggestions. This is not something I do every day, cooking for my chickens, but it is a lot of fun. I think the most enjoyment I get out of it is just watching them eat it. However, I will tell you, because I don't do this every day, they get the standard chicken feed snacks, especially in the evening. They'll get their nuts and grub worms. Maybe throughout the day they'll get, some cabbage or some other fresh greens. They'll get fruits like apples and berries. One of their favorites is tomatoes off the vine. They really, really like that. Mix this up. We're almost finished mixing. But anytime I give them something new, they sort of stare at it and they look like they're scared to death. So then, you walk away, give them a little bit of time, come back, and it's totally devoured. I put a 1/2 pumpkin out there a couple weeks ago for them to eat, because one of my co-workers was nice enough to donate all of her pumpkins that she had left out of her garden, and she donated them to the chickens and pigs, and they at first were not going to eat it at all. The pigs did. They really loved them, but the chickens looked at me like I was crazy and didn't know what I was feeding them, and then it was gone. So, okay, as you can see, we mixed it all together. Now we're going to take this mixture and stick it back into the acorn squash shells. And then we're gonna go feed some chickens. All right, I hope you're having a great day so far. I will see you when I'm giving this to the chickens. Well, there you have it. They thoroughly enjoyed their snack. I enjoyed cooking it. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to our channel, and we're going to be doing a whole lot more cooking next year too. So if you have any snack tips that you'd like to share on what your chickens like to eat, I'm happy to hear them. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you soon.